All right, guys, let's do this. So I need to do more research so that I can be better as a seller, so I can pick up better items, so on and so forth. And this is kind of my way of getting hours put in on doing research, but also having the ability to go back while I'm outsourcing and watch my own videos and go, hey, when I was sourcing, I was looking for these when I was researching, I found these kinds of items. Here were the key indicators for those items. Make sure I pay attention to that as I'm getting ready to enter the store. So right now we're going to do men's sneakers and potentially men's boots. Depends on how much time I spend on men's sneakers. But men's sneakers is probably one of my weakest categories, primarily because Jordans, Dunks, and Yeezys tend to be highly faked. So I try to, in general, stay away from those. It's not that I don't pick them up ever. I do have Jordans in my store. It's just that, in general, they tend to be faked. So, and they're also almost always aware of the value of that pair. So if I go in trying to buy a pair of Jordans from Goodwill, I might be paying $50 for them or $60 for them. So if they don't actually have that value, then it wouldn't necessarily be worth it. But, and then Yeezys are never even on the floor in the first place. So when it comes to men's sneakers, I'm going to be looking for more of the lesser fake styles, the more common styles, I guess, but that ideally will be selling for those higher prices for us. And we'll see if we can find any pairs that meet both of those margins. All right. So I think pretty sure the screen recording is already going. It is. All right. So we're going to start off with this pair of Metcons, and what I have realized, and I've already done some of this research already, but I'll kind of like dig into it with more detail in a second. What I'm realizing from the jump is that a lot of these pairs, the condition is just everything. And I know that. And I've always known that condition is everything. I just didn't know that condition could have such a significant effect on the price of the pair. I'm seeing examples while I was doing this research where people were selling shoes that were their personal shoes out of their house, on a basic table, and getting $50, $60, $80, $100 for pairs of shoes, where I personally would have priced that shoe at $39.99, $49.99, maybe $59.99. And it's showing me just how much more up I can go when it comes to prices if I make sure I'm picking up the right types of inventory. So, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, you can see all of the grooves here inside of this tread. All of the grooves are here. The only wear that I'm seeing is like there might be slight wear right here along this heel, but that might not even be the case. That could just be, the way how the photo is taken. It's not the clearest photo overall. And like, look, this person doesn't even accept returns. I accept returns. So that might give me a bit of an advantage when it comes to being boosted in the search ranking and getting a higher price. So let's keep going. I wonder if I can close that tab. I have too many tabs open, y'all. We're gonna close this one. I'm gonna keep that one. We'll close this one. Okay, now I can see my tabs again. We can close that one. And I think this is an Ultra Boost, right? Yeah, we can close this one. All right, let's do this. All right, so basic Vans. I'm usually not picking up Vans in most scenarios. I also don't do this where they have women's and men's in the title. I just don't do that in general. I usually try to go based off of which side, which gender is going to be most likely to buy this pair, and I just go with that. But this one's priced at $25. Not really something to ride home about. You're going to find Vans pretty much every time you go out. And I try to focus on more colorful ones, more ones that are highly interesting, or the ones that are in the bigger men's sizes. So, for example, if this pair was a size 9 or 10, this one's kind of perforated, which would be more of a women's style than a men's style. But size 9 or 10, I could see like a much higher price for these and maybe be able to get like $30, $35. But in general, I'm not really picking up too many Vans. These Converse, however, are very interesting to me. These are a pair of like black leather Converse, and I do find leather Converse pretty often. I think the high top versions of Converse, for me personally, sell for a lot more than I do with their low top variants. And just having leather is like an extra push up. But I wouldn't have necessarily put these at $69.99. I wouldn't have considered that. I probably would have had these at like $49.99, and I might have missed out on, $12 of profit here because this person sold theirs for $63. So I'm going to, when I find a pair of leather Converse in excellent condition, I'll try to see, is it possible for me to get that $59.99 price point? And then after that, can I push it up even further and maybe get like $69.99 and go from there? But that's interesting to me that this person was able to get this higher price on this pair. Technically, they do have free shipping too, though. So it's more so that they sold it for $52 plus $10 shipping, which would be aligned with where I'd want to price it in my next test. Because right now I price them at $49.99. Maybe I can get the $59.99 based off of this person's comp. Like I said, we're not going to really talk too much about the Jordans. Nike Mamba, I do pick up a good bit of Kobe's. I see them periodically. Let me see if I can. All right, so this right here, let me show you guys just an indicator, just in case you don't know like how to identify Kobe's. This right here is called the sheath logo. So if you see this logo on a pair of shoes, it's likely going to be a Kobe pair. But we live in an age now where you can just use Google Lens and figure out, you know, whose shoe this is. So if you were to Google Lens it or look up the style code, you'd be able to tell immediately. But just in case you're in the wild, you can only see a portion of the shoe, you're digging through a pallet, something of the sort, this little logo right here will be an indicator for you to say, hey, this is a pair by Kobe, and it's worth usually good money. Also, whenever you price a pair of shoes over $75, if you guys don't know that either, they will automatically get pushed into authentication by eBay if it's on eBay's authentication brand list. So if you don't want your pair to go into authentication, you have to be either below that limit, which might make it so that you're missing some of the money. And by the way, if you have it priced at $100 and it sells for $60, it still goes into authentication. There's no way out of it once you put it over that threshold. And then eBay will cover the shipping. You just got to take it to FedEx. Let's keep going. Pair of Ultra Boosts. We're going to skip this pair of Ultra Boosts. There was another pair that I saw a little bit later on that I think is super interesting, and it kind of blew my mind a little bit. Brooks Adrenaline GTS, $39.99 is where I would have these at as well. They did $14.50 for the shipping. But I'm starting to experiment with higher price points for my Brooks, and I've actually been able to, with Brooks and Asics, get that $49.99 and $59.99 depending on what the condition is. And these are in excellent condition, so I probably would not have put them at $39.99. They have like almost no signs of like wear. Well, okay, they have this discoloration right here on the toe, so maybe that's affecting it, as well as this little cracking right here on this toe box. So maybe, you know, $39.99 is warranted, but I've been trying my best to like push up into these higher price points of $49.99 or higher. And like, as you can see right here with this person, they have theirs at $54.99 for the exact same pair, just in a different colorway. And that's what I've been trying to do as well lately for my Brooks. Solomon's an excellent brand. These look like trail running boots almost. Yeah, they're a little bit higher top like this. For Solomon, what you just need to make sure is that the condition is there. There's almost no situation where I'm struggling with Solomon. I tend to do pretty good. I always, you know, check this tread right here because they have this little spike tread, and make sure that there's no like significant wear on this. But usually there's not. I don't know. A lot of the Solomons I find are not super used. Problem though is a lot of the times they'll be caked in mud right here. So if these are caked in mud, maybe you want to pass on them, or you just get like a hose and wash them down. But $49.99 seems like it'd be a little bit low, in my opinion, for this pair. I probably could see you getting a bit higher than that. Could be wrong, but let's look. Let's see if Solomon Snowcross. All right, Solomon Snowcross in men's. Let's see what we get. Because I could be wrong. I could not know what I'm talking about. That's insanity. See if we can get some sold comps for these. $49.99, $149, $119, $115. I didn't filter by used, my bad. It's not that many on the market. It's 54, 70. That's not even the same shoe. 50, 58. There we go. So somebody got $100 for these on the 7th. That's what I would be expecting for a pair of Solomons that look like that. This one also sold for $100, so it's not just a, you know, this only happened once. This person also, this was a limited edition one, but they sold it for $165. So there's a reality out there where you can get 70, 80, $100 for a pair of Solomons like that, and I'd probably put mine in that higher price range as well. Adidas Swift Runs for $29. Not too bad. This is best offer accepted, so maybe they took a $20 offer or $15 offer. I can't say for sure, but not bad. I have been really, really careful when it comes to Adidas that I'm picking up, just because of this right here that I accidentally just clicked. Like, Adidas sells their own shoes new on eBay for like 40 to 50 bucks. So it's very difficult to get these higher prices for specific models of Adidas. This is kind of like an everyday lifestyle model, and you know, I think it's a little bit more difficult to get a higher price point with a model like this, but it's possible. Click the wrong thing. What we got? Sambas, Hoka Hupana. I know pretty much all of these. Pumas. Topo Athletic is a really good brand. Like it a lot. I had it on my tabs a second ago. I just want to check the overall condition to see. And if you want to identify Topo Athletic, it's pretty easy. It's like right there on the top, usually. Like right there on the tongue, it'll say Topo Athletic. Dude, I don't know how I keep accidentally clicking onto other listings. See the tread? Good. Like perfect tread. And like I feel like if your shoe is perfect, it's easy to get a $40 price point. Like appropriate brand, perfect shoe, easy 40 bucks. This is the one that I did a bunch of research on. It's called Dylan Ryder HUF shoes, and I had no idea who Dylan Ryder was. Like I've never heard of Dylan Ryder. I'm not in this scene, so I wouldn't know who he is. But it turns out Dylan Ryder is a skateboarder, and well, he was a skateboarder, and his shoes actually sell for pretty good money. So I did another tab where I was looking up Dylan Ryder, and the way how you can identify it's a Dylan Ryder HUF shoe is that on the tongue it says Dylan right here. And a lot of the pairs that I saw, at least in that style, had that Dylan on the tongue. So I'm guessing this is his signature right here, or just the signature for the collaboration. And if you see this, then you should be able to, you know, because it looks like just a regular pair of low top skater sneakers, but this specific collab can sell for, you know, 60, 80, some were going up to 100, and then you got this one that's $300, which is significantly higher, you know. So I didn't know about this until after I started this research here. But that's another thing I can add to the Rolodex. If I'm in the men's section, I see a pair of skater sneakers and they are HUF brand, then, you know, if they say Dylan on the inside, then that's an indicator for me. I wonder if it's on the footbed as well. This person doesn't have a photo of their footbed, so I can't see for sure. Let's see if we can find one more example that might have it on the footbed. Okay, so on the footbed for this pair, dude, this is so frustrating. On the footbed for this pair, yeah, it says it right there. You see it? Right there. It has his name in there. So don't miss out on a pair of these because you think, it's just a pair of HUF sneakers. This isn't worth anything. Or a pair of men's slip-on sneakers. Like, apparently they sell for really, really good money if you can find them. Air Max 1s looks like they're sold on someone's bed. They were sold on someone's bed. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's just perfect condition. It feels like every time I do one of these videos, it's just this. This is the solution. Like, if you want to sell shoes for good money, condition. If the condition is there, the money is there if it's of a good brand. If it's not there, then no. But like, that's it. It's just condition. I can stop this right here and we'll be done. It's just condition. Look at these Air Force Ones right here. $69.99. Let's look at the condition. So that's what's happening. Like, my screen jumps up as I'm getting ready to click and it makes it so that I miss my mark. Huh, this is not, yeah. So we have stars right here on the heel. What about the toe? We have stars right here on the toe. There is some discoloration on the bottom, but not too crazy. There's some discoloration on the interior. But overall, like, they are white as they should be. You know, there's no significant stains or scuffs right here on the toes. And they don't have like a bunch of wrinkling and stuff like that in this pair of Air Force Ones. And a person got $69 for these. It's just condition. That's it. Condition, brand, done, finished. So let's go look at men's boots for a second, see what's in there, and then we'll close this out. It sucks because like I really thought that, and I've learned this new brand with Dylan in the HUF, but it's just condition, dude. It's just condition. All right. Havana Joe. I don't know this brand at all, actually. Look at that. The first one that I pull up is a brand that I don't know. Trying to figure out what's the indicator on the shoe to tell me this shoe's a Havana Joe. Okay. They have a cowboy on the bottom. Interior says Havana Joe. Whenever I see this embossed like sizing on a shoe, that usually is going to tell me we're looking at a good shoe. So that's what I'd be looking for. I'd see this embossed sizing as well as a leather interior. So we have a leather interior here, which tells me this is good. We have embossed sizing, which tells me this is good. We have EU sizing specifically, which tells me this is good. And then on top of that, we have like a good work boot. So for me, I'd see this and go, okay, how much are they asking for this? I should be able to, and then we have embossing, an embossed logo on the exterior of it as well. Let's look up Havana Joe and see if there's money to be had here. Havana Joe boots. Okay, maybe the person who just sold these, they undersold them a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it. Like, they probably could have gotten higher than, I think they got 35 or something. Yeah, they got 35. We're seeing 21, 20, 45, 69, 45, 70, 100 for the same boot. And this is just like outside on a stone pavement. 200 for this boot because it's like a little like moto aviator style. That's not moto. I thought that was a harness right there. That is not moto. 35, 20. Well, I guess their price at 35 is reasonable. It's just that there are other people out there that are selling these for 100. So for you guys, what makes the most sense to you? Do you put these at $30? Like a lot of the comps that are here and like the person that we looked at first? Or do you go for this 60, you go for this 90, or in these higher price points for this pair? Also, they're showing me vintage Havanas, which are, oh, no, it's vintage Havana Joe. Yeah, like what would you guys do in this scenario? This person right here sold them for $98 as well. So what do you guys do? If you have a pair of these, do you put them at 35 like all these people did? Do you go for, 45, 50, 60? What kind of thought process do you guys have for a pair like this? Also, these are women's pairs too. The men's pairs sold for 70. This men's pair was 55 best offer. This is a men's pair which sold for 100. This is a men's pair that sold for 35. Mostly a women's pair for 39. Men's pair for 200. So the person that we were looking at, they have a men's pair, but they sold them for 35. They could have potentially gotten more money from that. And that's what I do. I always, take a pair that I could sell for 50, could sell for 100. I end up pricing it at $35, $40, and I get my money, but I'm missing out on so much upward profit if I would have priced it a little bit higher than that. I don't know what this is. Unmarked Archie boot? What does that mean? If anybody knows, can you guys explain to me what is this? These are some really nice boots. It's like a custom boot, I guess. That's beautiful. Like, it makes sense they got the price that they got for these. Is the brand called Unmarked? Let's see. I'm learning a bunch now. I should have started with boots. We're turning up now. These are a bunch of brands okay, it's a brand. No, it's not. Is it a brand? Does anyone know what Unmarked is? Like, in my comment section, if you know what this is, tell me, please. But that's amazing. And these sold for $160, and it just says Unmarked on the side. These are a boot that at your thrift store, they might be $20, they might be $30, something like that. But like, you could sell them for $150, $160 easily. That's beautiful. It's a really nice boot too. But I don't know how long it took for this person to sell this. So, but I mean, this is in their yard. So I know Rick Owens X Doc Martens sold for $655 brand new. Unfortunately, guys, I don't know who Rick Owens is. So I'm looking for an indicator to tell me, hey, these are Rick Owens' boots. You see, for most of my career, I've been focused on, it says RO on them. For most of my career, I've been focused on just trying to process as many pairs as I could, but never on like building my actual knowledge base beyond where it is currently. And this is like steps in that direction. I was just trying to find more pairs that could fit my bottom threshold, but I never looked for pairs that could be above my threshold, if that makes sense. So Rick Owens Doc Martens sell for a lot of money. Each one sells for like $300, $400, $600. I bet you everyone's like, dude, you don't know who Rick Owens is? What are you talking about? How are you a shoe seller and you don't know who Rick Owens is? Sorry guys, I apologize. I'll do some research after we finish this for who this guy is. I mean, I might as well now. I'm here. Let's go figure out who Rick Owens is. Who is Rick Owens? He's a fashion designer. Okay. So that means he probably has other collabs too. It's just that Doc Martens is one of them. And I'm guessing, based off of what I just saw in those Doc Martens, a lot of his shoes have these interesting lace structures. Because basically every pair of these Doc Martens that I saw have these very, very interesting lace structures. That's interesting. Okay. So if I find a pair of Doc Martens that are laced up like this with these laces everywhere, then that would be an indicator for me that these are a pair of Rick Owens Doc Martens and they're worth a lot of money. A lot of money. Okay. I'm glad I did the research on that. Twisted X, I see that pretty often. The Super Boot, I had a pair of these that I sold for like $100 or something like that. But I like this. I like this a lot. Rick Owens. Timberland Super Boot. They have it with the box. I also find that if you can get the original box with some of these, with certain specific items, it can be an increased value-wise. And Super Boot in general just means like it's this higher top boot. It's like a tall Timberland boot. And I didn't know that they were selling for $300 in the modern condition. I mind that I have for vintage, but it's nice. I like it. I do really well with Thorogood, Keen Hardy, Bilbo. For people who don't know what ostrich leather looks like, it just has these quills right here on the toe of the shoe. That's it. That's the only indicator for it. White's Perry Mocktober. Dude, people are out here selling boots for $200, $300, and I don't know what they are. Like, what is this? What brand is this? White's. Okay, so again, look at what we find. We have the leather. We have an embossed logo on the outside. They're handmade in Spokane, Washington. So that's one indicator. We have a leather interior, which is another indicator for me. It looks like a mostly leather interior, at least. I can't tell what this black part right here is made out of, and I know that's not a leather insole. But like This is a $215 boot? Seriously? Let me do some research on White's Perry. White's boots. Oh, that sucks. You can't. I don't know how I'm gonna find these because it's also showing me white boots. It's gonna be harder for me to pull this off. Let me see if I can. Maybe we can use Perry. Okay, that made it a lot better. Made it a lot easier to find them. And then we just need some more soul comps. Yeah, they sell for excellent money. It's a whole new brand for me. I've never seen this before. So if you live in the Washington area, you know, you can get $200, $300 for this pair of boots. And it just slipped right past me. Like, I would pick this up because of, I know it's valuable, but if I went to the flea market and someone had, let's say, $50, $60 on this pair of boots, maybe I end up passing because I'm like, I'm not going to pay $50, $60 for, like, that boot, you know? But if I could pay $50 for this and make 215, make 200, make 325, you know? Like, people are getting great prices for that boot. I just wouldn't have known. Ariat is common. I know Ariat pretty well. Jeffrey West, LL Bean, Oakley Field Assault. I just sold a pair of combat boots for $69.95, I think, and or $69.99, and I want to increase my exposure to these. This one's Oakley. The only thing I'm looking for is what the logo looks like. In general, when I find like these nice desert combat boots that are that have like these ridges and stuff like that with the Vibram sole, it's usually going to be a go-to for me. And these, I wonder if they have like a hard toe or not. These are good. $70 is not bad. Look at that. Look at that. These are $50 for just generic men's military boots. And then you just add a brand to it. You can get $70, $80, $100, depending on what the brand is. All right, this video is getting long, so I greatly appreciate y'all. Hopefully it was valuable to you, and we'll talk to you guys soon. I'm probably going to continue doing some research, but I don't want to like bore y'all with me looking at stuff. So if you want more of this, let me know. If you don't, be like, hey, this sucks. Stop showing us this type of stuff. But peace.